Welcome. Today's discussion will be about how to take literature circles and make them an interactive online activity, including using blogs to fuel a discussion. So today we'll be looking at book blogs, interactive online journals for literature circles. For this session, the goals would be to help people understand how to implement student-centered, technology-driven small group and whole group book clubs. The blogs will be there to help maximize responses and discussion around text, perhaps pull in some of the kids that are quieter in a group setting and give them some more confidence to have that discussion while in a group. This is also going to use technology in a transformative way, as well as motivate the students using an authentic publishing context. What we are not talking about today is simply setting up a classroom web page or a teacher blog. This is going to go further than this. So it's not just about using a blogging program, a program like Moodle. It is instead going to be about how to incorporate literature circles into that process. And then again, it is not about a rationale for using the benefits of social media. That could be a whole nother presentation in and of itself. When we're looking at book clubs and literature circles, we're looking at facilitating students' in-depth exploration of a novel, really helping to harness that love of reading and build it. We're doing this in a small group environment where everybody has a voice and students are going to feel comfortable to freely discuss those ideas. Because I'm presenting this in a 4th grade classroom, I of course know that my role will be the facilitator in scaffolding this process. The first time we do this, they're going to need more support from me. Some groups and some learners are going to need some more support from me. So this isn't just set it up, wipe your hands and walk away. There will be a lot of adult group leading going on. Ideally, you'd like to have 4 to 6 students per group. And each member would have their own job for the week, and later on we'll see a rotation of how those jobs would move through. Now, there are more jobs in a literature circle community. However, I'm starting small and just focusing on word wizard, discussion director, passage master, artful artist, and character analyzer. I chose these because they have a nice way of lending themselves to more technology platforms to blend into the literature circles and bringing them to an online forum. And we'll go over the different ways that those will be achieved later. So the student blogs. The student blogs are going to be a huge component of the online literature circles, and they are going to be, instead of the response log, instead of the traditional notebook, they're going to be doing blogs as a discussion tool where they will read, write, and discuss their ideas. Now, there are many benefits of the blogs over the traditional paper journals. Now, some of you who might be reluctant to move beyond that can start to see that when we look at this long list. So one of the best benefits is students can access their blogs from anywhere. We won't have the excuse of, I forgot my literature circle journal at home, I lost it, it's at my mom's house, it's at my dad's house. It's always going to be available to them online. As a teacher, you can monitor their progress during the week without physically having that log in your hand, and it maintains a record of their work throughout the year. Because it's online, it's highly motivating and authentic. Students love to get online. They love to have some sort of technology platform that drives their learning. Now, while they're doing this, they're practicing and applying their keyboard skills. So it's not something just being done in isolation with the program. This is actually going to be them needing to be more efficient with the keyboard. And it's going to incorporate different media, which again will be that motivation factor. They'll be inserting images, looking at videos, learning how to embed links, all skills that are very important in the 21st century. And when we're looking at career and college readiness, it's all driving them towards that point. It's great for discussion priming as well, so that when you come to a meeting, you have something ready to facilitate your conversation during that time instead of 4 to 6 students standing around looking at each other. If a student is absent, out of the classroom, perhaps even in another classroom, you can join the discussion remotely. They can, and as a teacher, you can join the discussion remotely as well. There's ownership and accountability. So when your blog is blank, you have some accountability as to what you've been doing for your work during this time. There's many different student blogging platforms. I'm going to be doing a tutorial on kidblog.org. There's others, and it basically comes down to a matter of preference or what you feel to be the best fit for your student population. Now, getting into the roles, there's Word Wizard. Word Wizard role is where you're going to be choosing one new, and then I also make a clear point of telling the students it can be unfamiliar, fascinating, or confusing, because inevitably you'll have the student that knows every single word in their book, and there's nothing they've ever not heard of. So I say unfamiliar. Maybe they heard it, but they can't use the meaning themselves. It's fascinating. They've never thought of using the word in that context before. Or confusing. You're not sure why the author chose that word. So that opens up the Word Wizard role. And then the technology platform here would be to create a Wordle that builds meaning by using an online thesaurus, an online dictionary, and then building the actual Wordle, which is a website to make your word clear to others. So basically comes out with many different words. You can put them in different shapes, different colors. There's lots of different ways to manipulate it. But throughout that process, the student is building meaning of a new word. Discussion director is the person who's going to have 4 to 5 good questions that the group would want to talk about, preferably something they want to talk about. And they should be thought-provoking and open-ended questions. So not, did you like this chapter? No simple one-word answers. And here's some question starters to get their thinking started. Normally, it takes 1 or 2 times at this role before they no longer rely on those question starters. The passage master will be responsible for choosing 1 to 2 important passages, which would be about 1 to 3 sentences in length each time, and to then copy them down on their blog. So again, we can look at the idea of seeing if the book is available online so they can copy and paste, or improving those typing skills by actually typing them. The passages should in some way help your group remember something that was interesting, powerful, puzzling. Again, opening up that role of what passage you can choose, and of course justifying your reasons, and some reasons for justification are listed below. The artful artist is going to be a graphical blog post. So in this case, they're going to do a Google image search for pictures that are relevant to events and characters in the novel. This is important when we use strict safe search here to be sure that we are not accessing images that would be otherwise inappropriate. Copy and paste these images into your blog. We're talking about using citations here, another important skill as they move into that 21st century technology platform. And of course, the writing part would be the caption that explains why this relates to your reading. And character analyzer is where you're choosing 3 adjectives that describe the traits of some of the characters in your novel. And again, the directions are here with a possible list of character adjectives included. We get the cooperative learning piece coming in. Positive interdependence, that idea of we sink or swim together. So if someone's not carrying their weight, we don't cast them aside, we help pull them up, because you only are going to succeed with everyone. Promotive interaction, we're supporting, encouraging, and applauding others' efforts. We have individual and group accountability as well as group processing. And the job rotation briefly gives you a visual of how you would rotate through the different roles and to be able to ensure you're performing each one of them as you read the book. The blog assignment progression would really start to build confidence and good habits. We're going to start with the teacher post, just commenting on a teacher post, and again, that's addressed later in a tutorial. Then students will move on to publishing their own structured posts, and then have a choice of topic on open-ended posts, really building that choice in there. With choice builds the complexity of the task and increases the cognitive demand or higher order thinking skills students are being asked to do. Tips in moving to an online platform or using blogs in your literature circle would be to emphasize comments, the engine of dynamic blogs. So really focus on giving that constructive feedback, and then look at the posts and comments as a class. What did we do well? What could we make better? These could be the basis for a mini lesson, the depth of thought, specificity, and relevance. Don't stress over spelling. There are many online tools that can help you be a good speller, so rather than stress over that, get the ideas out. And then assessment. Assessment is important. We don't want to do this if there's not some sort of accountability or help, end piece that's holding them to completing their best work. The assessment includes the digital portfolio that they built over time, which then in course shows the growth over time, timestamps on the blog, and then of course adherence to writing standards, conventions, and traits as well. Hope you've enjoyed listening to the proposal for taking literature circles into a 21st century forum, looking at how to incorporate blogs and other things. There will be more tutorials on how to achieve different pieces of the literature circles online as well.